Hello, and welcome to Know Before You Go for Sunday of the 24th week in Ordinary Time. I'm Brother Joe Trout, coming to you from St. Vincent Ferrer Priory in River Forest, Illinois. And in the readings for this Sunday, we get that wonderful Christian image of the lost being found. We'll hear the story of the lost coin, the lost sheep, the lost son, but then we also get Moses and the story of these lost people of God, and Moses, the one who himself was lost. We hear St. Paul recounting how he was once a blasphemer and was brought to God through the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Okay, so what's going on here? Well, we can't go through all of these in incredible depth. So I'd like to start with Moses. Right? Moses is in many ways that prototypical lost son. Because Moses, what did he do? He was raised by the Egyptians. He saw the suffering of his people. He tried to intervene. He tried to take matters into his own hands, and he killed one of the Egyptian taskmasters, right? And his fellow Hebrews were not grateful for it at all, not in the least, and he had to flee to the desert, run away from all of his people and his past. And he encounters God on Mount Sinai, who sends him back to his people, right? Okay, and then a weird thing happens on his way back. There's this tiny passage where it says that God came upon him and tried to kill him. And then his wife comes to her senses and circumcises their son. And then God spares him. What is going on here, right? It's a strange passage. Well, what you get the sense of is Moses is sent back to his people, the children of Abraham, and he himself hasn't followed that covenant. He has forgotten his own past. And something about that is deeply problematic, that if he is to carry out God's mission to save his people from slavery, he needs to be a part of that tradition. He needs to be a part of that covenant. So then he enters into it, and he does. He brings the people out. They receive the Ten Commandments at Mount Sinai, this incredible encounter. And then we have today's account, or this Sunday's account, that Moses then is up on the mountain with God. The people are making a golden calf. They're getting everything wrong. Right? They've replaced this incredible God who saved them with just an image. Right? They've turned away and been lost. And God says to Moses, go back down to your people. They're running away. And I will make of you a great nation. And Moses says, no, don't destroy them. Instead, be faithful. Remember your servants, Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, and how you swore to them by your own self, saying, I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky. What is going on here? Well, I think one way to take this is that this is the temptation of Moses. That God is offering to him, Moses, you can become the one who has the covenant. It can be your people. You can have the children or descendants as numerous as the stars. And Moses says, no. Remember your people. I want to continue the past, the covenant that we already have. Already have it all, right? And I think we often do experience something like this, that there are many points in life when you might see frustrations with people in the church, in your family, wherever you're at, and you might think, I can do it better. Put me in charge. Let me take over. And yet, sometimes that's just a temptation. And what we need to say is, no, God is at work. There is a covenant here. I need to simply be faithful to what already is. But often God does let us pick the wrong path, or at least it's there as an option. And Moses does what's right. He stays faithful to that covenant that before he hadn't even circumcised his own son. Moses is faithful to God. And what you find in the book of Exodus, and what follows, is that actually Moses, his line dies out, right? His children don't become any kind of great figures. He doesn't have tons of descendants. He is not Abraham. Abraham is the one with the descendants. Moses is actually just kind of a part of the family, right? He's not one of the patriarchs in that sense. And yet that's part of his greatness, that he simply is faithful to God in incredible ways. That's what we get from St. Paul too, that, what is it that makes Paul so faithful that he risks his life for this mission entirely over and over and over again? The fact that he encountered Christ. He saw the risen Christ, and it changed everything for him, and he gave the totality of his life for it. He who was already a child of Abraham. And so when you think of this and go to the parable of this lost coin, this lost son, Jesus who wants to gather back, what is he gathering people back to? He's gathering them back into the family. He's bringing them home. You have the lost son who returns home to his father, to something that's far more than he imagined or expected. And then you get this line with his older brother who says, in this incredible anger to his father, "Look, all these years I served you, and not once did I disobey your orders, yet you never even gave me a young goat to feast on with my friends. But when your son returns, who swallowed up your property with prostitutes, for him you slaughter the fattened calf?" What does the father say to him? "My son, you are here with me always. Everything I have is yours." Think about that. Everything I have is yours. Here's the lost son. He's the one who's there with the father and doesn't even see it, and can't recognize it, and can't rejoice in a God who wants to welcome people home and to be a part of this incredible family of Christ, that we are one in Christ. This is ultimately what that Christian message is, that we are risen in Christ, that we enter into one body together, and in that we have an incredibly new life, right? And so I'd ask you to ponder that, this Sunday when you're at Mass. What does it mean to be at home in God? Because that's what all of these readings are calling us to. We who have wandered or been lost in how many different ways are coming home to a God who has already given us everything. Where can we in this life remind ourselves, I'm already home. I'm already here. God has given me everything. All I need to do is live in Him. Take care, and God bless.